Hello everybody, it is me here, Mr. Truth, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the quarterback situation of the Cleveland Browns because, listen folks, I haven't made a video in about 3 to 4 weeks, right? I haven't had any really good ideas pop into my head about, just making content in general, but I'm back. Hopefully you guys forgive me for that, but I'm back, and hopefully I'll be making like 1 or 2 videos per week, or whatever the fuck it is. But I was racking my brain, right, trying to find an idea for a video, and the first thing that pops in my mind, genuinely, being dead ass when I say this, the first thing that pops in my mind is, God damn, is that fucking quarterback situation in Cleveland the worst I've ever seen or what? Because it is. It's the worst I've ever seen any quarterback room in the history of the NFL. At least I've only been on this planet for 22 years. So maybe some 1986 quarterback battle between two fucking scrubs playing for the Seahawks or whatever, or the Falcons, or whatever bum-ass team that there was back then that just sucked and was absolutely atrocious and just never won anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what team it is. Maybe back then that was worse than this, but in modern NFL history, this is the worst I've ever seen. I've seen some really shitty quarterback battles. Some really shitty quarterback rooms in my day. I really have. This takes the cake. Now, I'm going to go over all 5 quarterbacks that could start, well, 4, because the first one I'm going to discuss in this video here today is going to be out with an injury, and hopefully he's out with that injury permanently from his NFL career, and he is sent to a fucking jail, because he deserves it. And that quarterback is none other than piece of shit, rapist, Diddy supporter, DeShaun fucking Watson. And listen, the next time he steps on the field should be his last, all right? And he's the injury should have been the last time he ever stepped on a football field. Probably the last time he should see daylight, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. That's life. Some people don't get, convicted of fucking crimes because they got power and they got money and they're famous and they're rich and all that fucking stuff, all right? They can avoid those punishments. They can avoid those things. And DeShaun Watson is a prime case of someone who has done such horrible things to people, but can get away with it because he got all the money in the world and he's rich and he's famous and all that fucking stuff. And barring all of that, off the field issues is, just the understatement of life here for this situation I'm describing, but still, examining on-field stuff with DeShaun Watson, he doesn't have what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore. His arm is shot. His mobility is worse than it's ever been. His accuracy sucks. He's erratic at best decision-making. His ball placement is absolutely garbage. He has no football IQ mentally. He seems completely shattered. Just doesn't seem in the right headspace to play football. And you want to know why? Because he's getting fucking... What do you get? You get it, all right? He's a piece of shit. And that should be the last time he ever stepped onto an NFL field. This fucking tear. I think he tore his Achilles. He deserved it, all right? He fucking deserved it. And that's DeShaun Watson. He sucks, right? And that leads to the next name, who could be the starter week 1 this year. That is veteran journeyman quarterback Joe Flacco. And, all right, folks, hear me out on this one. Joe Flacco, at this stage in his career, is not a good quarterback. I know it sounds stunning and astonishing of me to say something of the sort, but that's just the reality of this, all right? That's reality. That's life. And life sometimes can be super, super unfair. And life is going to be unfair to Joe Flacco because he's playing with the worst pass blocking offensive line in the national well, not the worst, one of the worst pass blocking lines in the NFL. And what's the problem with that? You got the quarterbacks like Joe Burrow who can make the best of a poor offensive line situation. The fact is, Joe Flacco at his age cannot run. He can't scramble, he can't get out the pocket, he can't extend the play, he can't use his legs to make a play. He is a statue-like quarterback. He's not even statue-like, he is a statue quarterback. He cannot run. All he can do is sit in his pocket and throw. And when all you can do is sit in your pocket and throw the ball, eventually teams will figure you out. All you can do is just sit there like a goddamn duck and wait to be sacked because of a quick pressure. And Joe Flacco, he's okay at reading defense, but he has erratic decision-making. We know he's a poor decision-maker, especially under pressure, and he's 40-something years old, so he's going to just be tossing that bitch up there and throwing so many And when he won Comeback Player of the Year, right, he was throwing a bunch of interceptions too. He was making erratic, boneheaded plays. as well. So with the offensive line being the worst it's ever been, for Flacco that I've ever seen, at least in Flacco's career, it's probably the worst line he's ever going to play with if he starts day one, which I'm assuming he will. He's not only going to get battered, bruised, and borderline killed on the field, he's going to be throwing a lot of interceptions and fumbling the ball while he's doing that. So Joe Flacco does not fit the offense. You can say, oh, but he won comeback player that you win. Listen, all right, that's a one-time thing. That don't mean shit anymore. That was like 2 years ago. That no longer matters. And with the roster being in an even worse state than it was when he did lead his Browns to the playoffs, I have no reason or inclination to believe he will do anything good this year. It is really that fucking simple to understand and comprehend. And that moves me on to the third quarterback here in this video, and that is former Steelers and Eagles quarterback, small hands, can't grip the ball, Kenny Pickett. Dear God, folks, may God have mercy on all of your souls. I could rip this motherfucker into shreds if I really felt like it, but I don't feel like screaming in this video because I just don't want to. And I don't need to. I don't need to scream over Kenny Pickett because we all know what Kenny Pickett is offering as a quarterback. He has no arm strength. He's another one where he can't throw 30 yards without the ball fluttering and wobbling in the air. He is another quarterback who throws late and with a hitch. He can't read a defense. He can't get it to his playmakers. He's not really that mobile or athletic or anything of the sort. Let's be honest. He's not fucking white. He's not White Lightning out here. He's not fucking Vanilla Vic. He's not gonna make crazy plays with his legs and look good and all that stuff. If he starts day one, this team won't score more than 10 points in the start with him. Because one thing, he does not fit this Stefanski offense. The Stefanski offense is a high school offense where they never run, they throw at every play. And that's how they were last year. And they have even less depth not depth. They have even less talent at running back this year with the departure of Nick Chubb. And Jerome Ford is sort of slotted in as the running back one for now. We'll see if he wins that battle in camp. But if he does, then they have one of the worst starting running backs in the National Football League. They have no running backs. They have no receivers. They have no line. They have Njoku. That's it. They have one good player on offense. And you're telling me Kenny Pickett, but Kenny Pickett, he looks like a kind of a scheme fit with Stefanski's offense here in Cleveland. To me, in my opinion, he's a scheme fit. If you're saying that Kenny Pickett is a scheme fit with Kevin Stefanski's offense here in Cleveland, you've never watched a second of organized professional football a day in your fucking life because you are crazy and you are taking crazy pills and you need to get off them immediately because it is having an enormous effect on your mental health because you are saying such stupid things that don't make any fucking sense. You need to check yourself into a fucking psych ward immediately because you are going insane and I am going insane making this video talking about you going insane because you think Kenny Pickett is a fucking scheme fit. Anybody who fucking says Kenny Pickett's a fucking scheme fit knows fucking nothing. Alright, they don't know a goddamn thing. Kenny Pickett is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever had the pleasure of watching in my entire 22 years of existing on this planet that we call Earth. I simply cannot believe this fucking guy is employed by any NFL team, let alone the most clown fucking team in the entire history of the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Only the Cleveland Browns will give a scrub the caliber of Kenny Pickett another chance to prove himself when he's already proven he's a bust and will probably end up flaming out of the league once the Cleveland Browns finally come to the conclusion that Kenny Pickett flat out sucks at throwing a football and he cannot play at the NFL level. My lord, folks, this guy is straight fucking dumpster booty juice. He sucks balls. He doesn't deserve to be on an NFL roster, that's for sure. Maybe a good UFL, XFL quarterback. Certainly not an NFL quarterback that you would throw out there day one and fucking start for your franchise as the franchise quarterback. That doesn't make no goddamn sense now, does it? As for actual ability he has limited to none. He has good short accuracy, but accuracy deep is non-existent. Accuracy to the medium portion of the field is inconsistent at best. Pair that with borderline bad athleticism and one of the worst arms of any quarterback in the National Football League, you know exactly what you're getting with Kenny Pickett. You're getting a scrub. You're getting a wannabe game manager who reminds me a lot of a Trent Edwards, except with an even more cream puff arm and a lack of ability to read a defensive coverage. And that's really what it's all about with Pickett. He still doesn't know how to diagnose a defense. He takes his short stuff and cannot throw deep or medium because he doesn't have the arm to fit it into tight NFL-sized windows. We've seen this story before in Pickett's career. We're going to see it again. If he trots out there day one, he will get destroyed by an NFL defense. And folks, that's all I got to say about Kenny Pickett. Moving on to the next man in line here. The next quarterback, Dillon Gabriel. He's a rookie out of Oregon, and I don't have much to say about Dillon Gabriel. I don't know much about him. He doesn't really have, to me, look, from watching him in college a little bit, a couple of games, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He's like 5'10" at best, and that might be stretching it, folks. He looks 5'8" in some of the pictures I've seen. It really looks like a dwarf behind the offensive line, has a borderline below average NFL caliber arm. I don't know about processing. I don't know about, decision making. I know, he had great collegiate stats, which is good and all, but anybody can put up good collegiate stats nowadays because we've seen the type of quarterbacks that have been drafted the past 10 fucking years that have had some really good stats in college, but have been so bad it's hilarious in the NFL. So Dillon Gabriel, I don't think he brings much to the table. I don't think he is a starter. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. Maybe a spot starter to high-end backup at best. I think that is the potential of Dillon Gabriel, and that leads me to the fifth and final quarterback here in today's video about the clusterfuck of quarterbacks in Cleveland. QB number 5 is rookie quarterback from Colorado, Sher Sanders. And yes, I said it like that for dramatic effect because, motherfucker, I do whatever the fuck I want to do on the Mr. Truth YouTube channel, and that's how it's always gonna fucking be. If you don't like it, you can take your ass somewhere else to some other bum-ass channel because I do it my way on this fucking channel. My way or the highway. So you can either go to the fucking highway, you go my way. I'm just going on a rant in the middle of the video. I'm fucking rambling. But yeah, Shitter's not very good. He's another one who he can't throw past 35 yards, or 30 or 35, 40 yards without the ball fluttering in the air. And NFL DBs are gonna have a party with that shit. And I love how there's some Sher Sanders fanboys and Glazers alike that are selectively picking highlights of him throwing to players that are open by 25 fucking yards in a non-game situation where the pass rush, it was mini camp or something, a rookie mini camp or camp, something like that, right? Where you could tell the players aren't trying 100% because A, you don't want to get fucking hurt and not get a chance to make the final roster of the team, right? And B, they've probably been told, don't go too hard so you don't hurt yourself, and we'll get into harder fucking, training fucking later. You don't got to worry about it right now because it's the fucking NFL, all right? They do things a certain way, and that's how they've really always done them, and that's all there really is to it. So they selectively pick these clips of him throwing 25 yards to a wide open dude with no anticipation, just throwing it way after the break against these players that are, there's like so many fucking players because you're allowed to have like 70, high 70s, maybe low 80s fucking players, right? I think you're allowed to have like 81 or 80 something fucking players on the roster, and then you gotta cut them, and then you get a lesson fucking roster in the regular season. So there's like 80 fucking dudes, and most of them are skill position, which would be defensive back, linebacker, wide receiver. So he's throwing the ball against practice squad fucking players and players who have no chance of making the NFL, and you're selected with limited pass rush because they've been told not to go hard to not fucking hurt themselves, and whatever the fuck the case is, right? And you're selectively choosing that clip, and you're like, look at him, he's so great. He's not played an NFL game, and the flaws of him have been so ignored, it's crazy. He's been, you can tell he's been coddled so bad, it's not even funny. Listen, I don't have anything else to say about Sher Sanders. He projects as a horrific starting quarterback, a spot starter at best, and you don't want to start him for more than one game or your team is destined to be fucked for eternity. So that's it, man. That's all 5 quarterbacks. That is every single quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And what do I think of the situation? Do I think they could fix this? Is there like a long-term solution right now? No, there isn't. Next year, there's going to be, because they're going to pick a quarterback next year because I don't think their fucking third or fifth round picks this year they picked their quarterback are going to develop into starters at the NFL level. And there's no reason to believe that either, to be quite honest with you. And I'd imagine all 4 are going to start during the course of the season. And then you know, obviously with Kevin Stefanski's high school scrub offense that he runs, where he throws it 80% of the time, he does not understand how to use the run game. At least right now, and he has no reason to trust the run game anymore because Nick Chubb's no longer there. And, you know, you got worse running backs. You got Jerome Ford, who might be running back 1. You get the point I'm trying to make, folks. The offense looks bad. The offensive line is bad. They have no weapons whatsoever. They have no quarterback. Their defense is solid but underperformed last year. So this team is a disaster. Their QB situation is unfixable. It's a train wreck. And it is a failure waiting to happen, folks. And by the way, if you notice there's a bit of a change in microphone quality, you guys asked me to bring the old mic back. I did a poll and you guys overwhelmingly, like 75% of you, voted to bring the old phone mic back. So here I am using the old phone mic. Apparently you guys don't like me sounding all proper and professional. I don't understand that in any fucking way. But you guys like it, so I'm going to cave into your goddamn demands because that's what I do. I listen to you guys sometimes on this channel. Not all the time, but some of the time. And, you know, this just happens to be one of the times I listen to you guys. So, yeah. That's about it, folks. Thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth.